We're live. I'll give you guys a few minutes to come in. You guys can watch the Beagle do her, she's doing her puzzle while I get connected to the live stream and not kick the stand over. There we go. Greg Hart, what's up, buddy? Oh, I've got to turn one thing off. I've got to turn my volume down on something. Okay, sorry about that. We'll just give do about a minute here. Let some people come in. If you're in, please hit the like button so I know that there's folks in so we can get started. Yeah, this one is still moving. I thought I was going to try and outdo, since you're the king of chaos, I thought I'd try and outdo you tonight by bringing as much chaos as possible. So I started with the live subject. But it seems like we're getting some folks in here. The Beags is showing off one of her birthday presents. Monday, St. Patrick's Day is the Beagle's birthday. So she's been getting presents all week. As soon as William Hurt, what's up, buddy? How are you? But over chaos is not the good kind. Last night we had some good and bad. That actually, Motomac, that did come out very well. I was pretty impressed with that. It looks good. I actually, that's a recipe that people should actually go back and get. Rusty, what's up, buddy? Rick Stumball, your package is on its way. It should be there anytime, so check your mail. And okay, so the Biggs is done with her puzzle. She has solved this puzzle. These puzzles are supposed to take these dogs about 5 to 10 minutes. It takes my dog about 30 seconds. And she just came back from the groomer today where she had her nails done. So she is feeling pretty fancy, to say the least. So let's get started. Yeah, no problem, Greg. Or, I'm sorry, I was looking at one thing. Freudian slip. I was looking at one thing, said another. Yeah, no problem at all, Rick. Should be there anytime. And if Frank Morello, if you're in, yours should be there almost immediately as well. Fuzz, how are you? Give everybody a couple minutes. I've got my corned beef. I've got my bagged corned beef on tonight. My round roast corned beef is still in the brine in the refrigerator. But so tonight we're going to get the breads ready for the weekend. I'm going to do my pork cake, Graham's famous Ohio Pioneer pork cake. There it is. Now what Ohio Pioneer is, I'm not sure. I kind of tried to look it up, but there's a ton of recipes for Ohio Pioneer. And I don't know if that was like a publication at one point or what that was, but there's a bunch of Ohio Pioneer recipes out there, and this is part of the recipe. The way to do it is on the back. Bob the Builder, what's up? Cameron, hi. So we're going to be doing this, and I haven't had this in some years, to say the least. Some years. My grandmother used to make this at every Thanksgiving, Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, whatever holiday ended in day or moss, she had that. And my aunt was making it there for a while, but sadly my aunt was no longer with us either. So it has been a long time. Audio's choppy. That doesn't surprise me. I'm really not sure what's going on with the audio. Either your audio is messing up or it's my connection. Is anybody else saying that my audio is choppy too? I'll wait before I go any further. Well, is it choppy or I'm not? Sounds exactly what happened on my sound. Really, these solar, there's a lot of solar flares right now, and I'm gonna try and do one thing, and if not, I don't know what to do about that. Maybe it might be because I was so close to it, but so I don't know. Is that better? Maybe it's just because I was standing right next to it. I can try and move my microphone and stand back a little bit, but there is one thing that I'm going to try and do, which is turn my volume off on another thing all the way. It's better. Audio is better. Okay. Wrap your house in tinfoil. Yeah. I usually wear a tinfoil hat, so I don't know how I've got that kind of covered. But anyway, we'll get started with this. I'm waiting on my water to boil. I've got my oven heated. I've got my corned beef on. I've got some cabbage ready to go in. My potatoes are ready to go in. So I'm not going to do, the corned beef might not be done, but I'm not doing a corned beef show. So that's for my dinner later, because all this corned beef in my house has been burning a hole in this Irish boy's stomach. So I'm ready to start celebrating. And it's ridiculous that St. Patrick's Day is on a Monday this year. That seems like a foul. So let me see. So we've got 1 cup of unseasoned pork, and I'm gonna mash that up real quick. It doesn't have to be pretty by any stretch of the imagination. We got a good view of that, yeah. So so we're just gonna mash that up, and as soon as my water boils, which it should be pretty darn close, we're gonna throw a cup of boiling water on top of that. Now the reason that they did this, according to the Ohio Pioneer article about this, is that they could skip shortening. They didn't need to use any shortening in this, and you won't get any kind of real pork flavor. To me, if you've never had a pork cake before, it actually reminds me of fruitcake. It's very fruitcake-like. This has some raisins in it. It's got a really heavy molasses flavor. I'm actually going a little lighter with the molasses. I'm going not light with the molasses, but light with the brown sugar. I'm going to use light brown sugar instead of dark. Somebody even told me once that you could use, as a replacement for the molasses, you could use sorghum if you're trying to watch your sugar intake, and you'll come out with about the same flavor. I don't know how true that is, because I do not like sorghum that well. So to me, it kind of tastes, I don't know, it's got sort of a stale flavor. Cynthia must be hiding all over iron before she shows up. Hopefully she's still she's probably still voting for BSR on the poll. And if you guys haven't seen on my community posts, I do have March Madness going on, 7 rounds of cast iron. So if you want to go vote on that, we're in the 4th round right now. Griswold has been kind of on a streak, not unsurprising. Okay, so the kettle is over here boiling. Let's move my camera up a little bit. Oy. There we go. That gives me a little something. So we're gonna get our boiling water in there. Now it says, as far as the recipe goes, it says to throw the eggs in after that. Now I just have a feeling that that's a misprint and a good way to get scrambled eggs, which I don't want in my cake. So we'll go back over here. I need cameraman. I need some cameramen. So, oh, there we go. And pull that back, and put our kettle on the back burner. We'll put our hot liquid there. Let's see. A real make cake sounds interesting after all Mincemeat has those. Yeah, it's I don't know. I've had mincemeat before, but um, it's like I said. It's basically, in a sense, it's a fruit cake. You can put all kinds of different things in it. You can put now. Graham always used. She just put raisins in them, and it doesn't say this in the in the in the recipe, but Graham always, what she would do is she would take the half a pound of, it's a half a pound of raisins, and what she would do is right before she mixed them in for 5 minutes, she would soak them in water. So that's another thing that I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to soak mine in water for about 5 minutes, but I'll do that toward the end. So we're just going to go in there, and then I'm going to have a cup of molasses. I've got kind of a full kitchen. I'm trying to make my kitchen smaller. One of these days I'm going to do a show where I just cook in an elevator. I think that'll be a lot more fun. But, oh wait, I gotta wait on that. I'm sorry, hold on a second. I gotta let this kind of pork up a little bit. Let that kind of sit in there and mix that around. Now you don't add any seasonings into that yet. You just kind of get that and make sure that that pork is kind of done its thing. Kind of marinate for a minute. And I've already got on the side over here, I've got, in this bowl, I have 3 cups of flour and I have a cup of brown, is that a full cup? I think it should be a full cup. Let me see, yeah. And a cup of brown sugar. That's already in here for the sake of time. So that's how that is. So we've got that already over there. And then we'll have our spices. The only thing that I didn't realize until about 5 minutes before I hit the on button is I didn't have clove, but I don't have ground cloves, but I have regular cloves. So that would be what's in the mortar and pestle back there. So I'm gonna grind that up. And I'm gonna let this go in there. I'll grind that up once I put the raisins in to do their thing. Let me start making dishes here. Where are we at here? So let's take a look at the comments. Did Cynthia ever make it yet? For Christmas several years ago and loved it. Made it several times since. I don't know what that is. I've never had it. I've never been a fan of minced meat. I've had it once. So, it's hard to base things on one time trying something. You know, that's one of those deals where, you know, unseasoned ground pork. One thing I didn't look at that is, should that pork have been cooked? That makes me wonder. I've never made this before, and I just wonder if my pork should have been cooked. But I guess we'll find out. Nah, it shouldn't be. You pour the boiling water over it. Okay, so anyway. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to add in 1 cup of my molasses. Now, it calls for green label, Brer Rabbit, but which is the mildest. Molasses comes in 3 grades. So, this is the mildest of them all. And that's, as you get through, as molasses goes, you sort of get to where, during the process of making crystallized sugar, it gets processed 3 times. And the first round, the molasses is the byproduct. So the first round is, that. The light, then you get medium, and then you get the dark molasses, the black strap. So there we go. There's that. Set that off to the side. because I'm going to probably need that at some point. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't undercook pork. And you know what? That's something that I didn't even think about until I did it. And there's no way. If anybody wants to look that up, that would be really handy, because I didn't, it just says unseasoned pork. It doesn't say anything about cooked pork. It doesn't say anything like that. Then we'll put in our eggs, because that might just save us a lot of issues. I can't look it up right now because I'm using my monitor to do everything else. I've got my 2 eggs in there, like so. And if that's the case, I can always we can always keep going. I can just fry up pork real quick. Mix that in. But it does cook for 45 minutes, so there is that. Oh, there was something foreign in there. Is that just fat? Oh, it's just fat. It's just fat, pork fat. But I think it would have said somewhere on there if I needed to cook the pork first. What a total disaster. Oh. According to Olive Bread, the temperature of a baked cake is 205 degrees. Yeah. Usually when I pull bread, and I actually did a short about that, when I pull bread, I pull it at 195. So, and we're going to be doing this. Normally, it's to be done in a loaf cake, but what we're going to do, for the sake of time, because I'm also going to make soda bread, we're going to I'm putting it in a Lodge cornbread pan and in a number 3, which was my aunt's pan, putting it in her number 3 Griswold. Large logo. I can show those real quick. We're going to do the large logo Griswold, and I'm going to use the Lodge cake pan. And these are buttered and greased and floured. I used butter to grease and all-purpose flour to flour. I'm going to put my little Lodge deals on the ends. It makes it nice. You can see those. Yeah, I put those on there. I love those things. And let me see. Where are we at? So I'm going to go ahead and with my raisins. Where's my little cup that I just had? Oh, there it is. Okay. And then in this cup, we're going to put in the raisins. This back, a smidge. Well, here in a minute, a lot of this stuff will be out of my way, and I'll be able to do things as somewhat normal. Like I said, we're going to soak these for 5 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in that thing there. Put some water on there. We got that in the thing. And we'll just let these sit in some water for about 5 minutes while I mix in the flour. About the time it takes me to mix in the flour, we should be pretty good shape. I'm gonna hope, as they say. Let's see. I'll set that back off in the back. And then we're gonna take our 3 cups of flour and our brown sugar and throw that in there. Just plop that in so we can get this out of the way. There's one big bowl. That bowl probably, that'll be coming back at some point. Let's see, put the lid on my molasses and get it out of the way. And chop this up, chop up this brown sugar. There we go. I'm gonna chop all that up. And then I'm gonna take what I have in this right here is I have let's see, I have a teaspoon of baking soda. I have, and these are half teaspoons of everything. I've got the cinnamon, I've got allspice, and I've got my nutmeg, and I've got the teaspoon of baking soda. So that'll go in there. And so I'll mix this together. I think I'll put this off to the side as well. I think that's kind of served its purpose at this point. There we go. We'll get rid of that. Set that right there so it falls to the floor eventually. And I'll just mix this up while I'm doing that. We'll get that started, get that stuff off the side, and then I'll grab a whisk and start whisking that together. It's tough to do this. I'm doing it on my left side. I need to turn this whole camera around one of these times and do it this other way. But I'll get all this stuff off to the side, and then I'll get a whisk and we'll start whisking. But it smells really good. But don't worry, I won't forget the clove. Let's see. Everybody's talking about scores, which is always a good thing to talk. That's always a good thing to have happen, is a good score. Let me make sure. So I've got 1 cup of unseasoned pork, 1 cup boiling water, 1 cup of molasses, 1 cup brown sugar. I've got everything in as far as the spices go, and half teaspoons of all that. And really, if you don't have all the spices that I'm about to, that I just read off, just do what would be 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. That would work. You'd get ginger in there, but ginger never hurt anything. Ginger makes everything better as far as I'm concerned. I actually thought today about putting in, I thought about putting those crystallized ginger pieces in here. I thought about doing that because I thought that would be really good. And you can use crunch, you can use anything like that. I'm going to go ahead right now and I'm going to smash up. I'll set that off to the back there before I put the raisins in. And I'm just going to smash up smash up this clove and make sure it's good and properly done. That I'm gonna have to do this way. Sorry if it gets in the way, but we're gonna get, I've got to make sure that's done correctly. Because I don't want big pieces. Nobody wants a big piece of clove. Clove is awesome, but man, that's a strong one. There we go. If you can't find it, grind it. Isn't that what they say? Got over. One's off to the side. There we go. I'll have to watch the time on this because I'm doing this in such smaller pans. Normally it'd be 350 for 45 minutes, but since I'm using smaller pans, we're going to go 350 for, I'm going to go 20 minutes, 15 minutes, check it with a toothpick, and I'm thinking that's probably 20 minutes. Usually everything I make in these pans takes about 20 to 25 minutes. When I make muffins in the large cornbread pan, that generally goes to about 17 minutes. Is generally, if I use like Martha White mix or something like that. Okay. Clock. There we go. Okay, so the raisins have soaked for 5 minutes. These cloves look to be about where they need to be. They're good. They're completely pulverized. I'm going to drain this off, my raisins off real quick. And add these in. Now the raisins, according to Graham, they softened up and cooked better. Whenever you have stuff like dried fruits and things like that, you just soak them for a few minutes and let them soften up, and they tend to cook a little bit better, according to her. And she made everything. She made things very, very well. She could make a hamburger taste like a steak. She was a great cook. So we'll just fold these in real quick. And this is pretty much where we need to be. Now I think it's going to be kind of tricky putting these into, which I might even use that measuring cup to pour this in, because this bowl is pretty darn big. Oop, there was a big piece of flour. Put that in there. But it's a real thick, it's a dense cake. It's not fluffy. It's not like a white cake or lemon cake or any of these things. It's a very, very dense cake. So there we go. All right. So anyway, put that in there. Now I'm sure that this was supposed to be boiled pork. Okay. Would have said otherwise. I'm positive of it. Let me set that off to the side. And I think that I am actually gonna use a measuring cup to put these in. Let's see here. Turn you just a little more that way. Good deal. Let's see. Nice looking mortar and pestle. That's actually Ming's. I'm borrowing it from Ming. That's her mortar and pestle that she keeps at home here. So let's see if we can do this without making a total mess. And if you don't make a little bit of a mess, it's no fun. But let's cut that off there. And I don't think, in all honesty, I don't think that this is going to be a lot more than what I need to put into these little containers, the little cooking vessels that I have. And let me make sure that I put a half a teaspoon of these cloves in there. Oh shoot, I might have put that back. I didn't put those in there. Put that back in there. So there's one. These are quarter teaspoons, by the way. So 2. Okay. Set that off to the side. That's why I left it there. Yeah, don't forget to hit the smash the like button. That would be great. Okay. We'll throw that back in there just for a second, because I did almost forgot the clove, and that would be, it's got to have clove, right? It's got to have clove. So we'll give that a quick stir. And this is in real life, so can't forget that. Make sure we stir that up really, really well and get that incorporated in there. All right. Maybe does Cynthia ever show up? Or did she have maybe she's having a BSR meltdown. That could happen. Okay. That seems like that's incorporated in. Sure, I'm this into the camera. There we go. Off to the side for the mixer, the spatula, and I will grab this up and start folding that into this thing. and we'll give it a try. The first time went really well. I got a feeling the second time I'm not going to get so lucky. So, yeah, ease it in there. Easy does it. Easy does it. And probably, I'm hoping that we have to do this a couple times. Got up there. Get up there. Okay. And we'll bring this over. Set that off to the side for a second. And we'll fill this up. Now there's a little rise, but not a ton to this. Go light. Once that bowl lightens up a little bit, it'll be a little easier to work with. One of these times I'd like to take this little pan and do some different what do you call it? Cheesecakes. A few different cheesecake flavors. I think that'd be fun. Okay. There's that. And we'll go back. I think we'll go back over and put a little bit more in those. We don't want it to be not enough. And scrape some of that. Yeah, I'll have to get a little bit more. A little bit more. That one might be a little full, over full, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just add a little bit more of the mix into here. That should be about enough. That should maybe, well, we'll just go ahead and fill it up. Oh, I got it right there. Because I'm going to put the rest in the Griswold pan. And these aren't, none of these are preheated like cornbread. So let's just dab a little bit more of that in here. And by the end of the night, I'll have all my breads done for the week. Because there is a lot more St. Patrick's Day. Ooh, that one's a little full. We'll just put you over there, pal. There we go. And we can get a spoon. We'll just spoon some of that over. Spoon a little bit over there. Into the others. There we go. Dab into that one. Get that off. Wipe this one off. And get that in there. There we go. Nice and easy. Do a little bit more in these while I've got the spoon. That makes a lot more sense than to try and fiddle. And I think actually this might turn out to do just enough in that number 3 to make that about where I want it. And these, oh man, and it does smell really, really good. So, oh yeah, I sort of freaked out about that whole thing with the raw pork. But I think that's all, I think we're all in good shape on that. Because the recipe just never said anything about cooked pork. So that part's finished. So I'll set that off to this. I'm going to get some different gloves and wipe up my spot right quick. My space cleaned. Clean as you go, right? Okay. Okay, get that spot done, and then we'll bring over the Griswold, number 3. there. There we go. Yeah, it does. It's super dark, and that's why I wasn't too concerned about what I'm gonna say. If I had the with the, it's like I said, the recipe it called for dark brown sugar, dark brown sugar, but that I didn't have, so I wasn't very concerned about that part. Let's just go ahead and throw this into there. I got a feeling that this is gonna, even though I didn't plan this part, I actually thought I would have a lot left over, but I don't think I'm going to. I think that's gonna fit in that number 3, in Kate's 3. Real nice. Yeah, that's gonna fit in there real nice. So you got a cornbread pan and a number 3 of the mix, and that fit in there very, very well. And I will live with that. I will take that. Kind of. But it's a really, really, that molasses, I mean, when they say it's slow as molasses, they aren't kidding. This is thick. So go ahead, pop the rest of that in there, and voila, that part's done. And let me see. Yeah, this, so now the thing of it is with this pork cake is that you don't taste pork in this at all. And like I said at the beginning of the show, it's really just a way for people back in the old times. I mean, this is literally a pioneer recipe. So they had, you know, they had to make do with what they had. And so when they didn't have any kind of like lard, or, you know, they definitely didn't have Crisco. So when they didn't have those things, you know, that was where that idea came from. And I think it's a fantastic idea. But anyway, I'm gonna pop these in. Yeah, I would, if you know right off the top of your head what exactly is in mincemeat. I know it's got raisins and things in it, raisins or currants and stuff like that, but I'm not a mincemeat expert. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven right now. So used to those things being hot. I got a feeling that the Griswold's going to come and be, you know, actually, before I go any further with that, I've got extra mix from the bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that in there real fast. I'm going to throw that in there real quick. Because I forgot, I had this behind me and I didn't realize that I had this much left over, which should fill this up. And maybe even a little extra. So we'll see. There we go. Because like I said, we're not going to get a lot of rise other than that little bit of baking soda that was in there. So, and I have a little left over. That's okay. That's all right. So I'm glad I had that so I could fill that up just a little bit more. And now we'll throw that in there. Got just enough for another couple slabs in the, let's see, Rick's been talking, let's see. Oh, okay, Cynthia Wesley, there she is. Good to see you. Mercy B, good to see you. Okay, on to the next thing. So this is a way, I'm gonna throw a timer on so I don't forget this, which I know I'm going to if I don't do it. But I'm gonna go 19 minutes at 350, and we'll go an even 20. We'll go an even 20 minutes. There we go, 20 minutes in there, and then we'll check it, because even in the recipe it says that I should you know, account for the time, as opposed to, normally it has 45 minutes in a loaf pan. Now my Graham always divided it in half and made the 2 little tin loaf pans, but I don't have those. So let's see. So that one's done. Now we're on to the Irish soda bread, and this one is gonna not be so insane. This is going to be a fairly easy one to throw together. I can just put it on a flat, on just a, I'm just going to use a griddle, just a little round griddle, and we're going to go from there on that one. This is going to be pretty quick, but this one does take a little while to make, so that's the other reason I shortened up and used the little pans. So let me grab another mixing bowl here. And this one is going to be a hand-done one. And I get to use my bread lame, which I always love doing, because I am infatuated with making bread. Bread and gravy this year has been, the last 6 months has just been my thing. So, let me see here, let me grab my 1 cup thing. Grab my, what did I just do with that recipe? There it is. I'm hiding stuff from myself. Okay. Let's see, wait, honk honk. Be worried about that chicken coop. Chicken coop. Country's a chicken coop. Okay, so the bowl's there. We're gonna start with, let me see. We are gonna start with 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, unbleached, King Arthur, of course. So we got 3. So we got 3 there. 1. Put that back there. Put this right in front here, where I can work. Level that off. 1. 2. Weigh it. Everybody says to weigh these. Okay. Might have to grab a little out of the cupboard there, but that's okay. If I've got it right above me, I can just grab a little bit more down. That might be my half that I need. Nope, it is not. So we got to reach into the cupboard and grab a half. Let me see. Hold on. Grab our half over there. There's our half. We got about 1/4, so we need about another 1/4 cup. Which I just happen to have some all-purpose flour right here above me. And we'll fill that up. I like doing it in jars. That way, like this is just about enough for about a loaf of my bread, which is like 4 1/4 cups altogether. Easy to, ooh, that's a little much, isn't it? Yeah, we'll just knock that off into the bowl, and I'll worry about that later. So there's my half cup. Boom and boom. There's my 3.5 cups. Now this is not going to rise much either, but it's going to be a hand knead. And there's not a lot of much kneading to it either. As they say, it doesn't knead a whole lot. Let's see. So we got that. Granny Gran, how are you? So we've got this right here. So we've got our 3.5 cups of flour in. And then after this, it's just downhill, except for my buttermilk. And it does take a little bit of buttermilk in there. And I think on a night like today, I think I'm going to start drinking right after I get this over with. Have a little thirsty Thursday, as they say. So then, I'm going to go ahead and put I need 1.5 cups of buttermilk, which I just happen to have some buttermilk right here. No reason to add the vinegar or make much fuss. You can just do that right there. Set that off to the side. I've got my, I had a half cup. Oh, there it is. My other half cup of the buttermilk. So there's my cup and a half of buttermilk. Ooh, yeah. We're doing shots of buttermilk by the end of the night, I got a feeling. Mix it with a little bit of that nice Irish bourbon that there's probably laying around here somewhere. Okay, so we've got our 3.5 cups of flour, unbleached King Arthur, and then a cup and a half of buttermilk. And now here's where it just gets real simple. Put my buttermilk away so I don't leave it sitting out. So with our salt, we only need, I'm going to use sea salt on this. It calls for kosher salt, which there ain't much difference, let's be honest. I got my teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon of the kosher salt, sea salt, as this is going to be. It looks like about 3/4. Just there we go. Just a shake for good measure. Got to shake it a little bit. And then for the star of the soda bread, we just need 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. That's about that much. So there we go. That is finished. That is it. So we're just going to get one of the big hearty whisks from there in the back, off camera. We all on there? Yeah. Boy, that looks like a, on my end of it, it's kind of bleached out. It looks like a big pile of fun. No margaritas, no. I've got a little bit of bourbon in the house somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure. I know it's not in the kitchen. And there's a few things, there's always usually a few things to drink in there. Now this is going to be real shag. It's not going to be one of those that's like, how do I want to say it? It's not going to look, I'm going to have to mold this together. And, wow, this whisk was a really stupid idea. Let me see here. Oh, that can be fixed real quick. Let's take a nice big guitar-shaped spatula and knock that out of there. Not a problem. It said in the recipe to whisk it. So one thing you should always learn from this when it says stuff like that, and this is an Irish recipe. Might not want to trust the Irish, huh? Just kidding. Just teasing. Just teasing. Everybody settle down. So we'll get this stuff out of there. And we'll set that whisk. We'll keep the whisk because we might need it eventually, but we're going to get the old guitar. There we go. That's a lot better. And eventually, I'm going to get this out, and you're only going to have to knead it like 4 or 5 times. Once it's sort of, we're going to ball it up in here. See, we've got about 10 minutes before I can check the other. And the other thing with this, okay, we're 350 on the other bread, on the pork cake, but on this, we're going to be jacking the, we're going to be going interstellar with the heat and going up to 450 to, basically we're going to melt everything at 450, and then after a few minutes, we're going to turn that down to, we're going to have to turn this 180 degrees to make sure it's even. And to make sure it's even. So once it's in there for the first, let me see, bake for 15 minutes at 450, and then we're going to turn it 180 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. There, I'm going to make sure that it hits, I'm not going to worry about that until it hits 195 degrees. And then we'll do that. This looks pretty darn incorporated. So we're going to form it into a ball, and then I'm going to put it on the counter, and then I'm going to knead it a little bit And that's going to be about the extent of that. So let's set that off to the side. I'm going to put my gloves on and go from there. All right. And I'm hoping that I can do this in 9 minutes or less. Let's pray. And I'm going to grab a little bit more flour out. Oh, I got enough flour right here. Aha, I just happen to have this flour left over. So we'll bring this over here. We'll put that in here, off to the side, and we'll need this. We'll put this into a ball. And that's all we're going to have to do, right? That's it. That's all we're going to have to do. I got a feeling that some things are easier said than done. But let's hope. Okay. Said it will be shaggy, and I believe them. So form that in, stick that in there. Put this down. I'm gonna make a little spot in there, and throw this other shag in there. This smells really good. I love the smell of buttermilk. We used to have a dairy farm near us, and I remember we'd go in to see the kids that were about my age and go up and help with that sometimes, and it always smelled like buttermilk. Good memories. Good memories. The Cook Boys. All right, so we've got that in there. Got that. Oh, lost a big piece. Shaggy, it's okay. It says it was going to do that. So we're going to form that up, and we're going to make this ball, pinch it together. And there's no yeast, there's no nothing. Because basically, most Irish dishes were made in a very good, the ones that came over to this country came over when Ireland was in a pretty bad state of affairs. So there wasn't a whole lot of gourmet at that time, to say the least. So let's see. All right, let's put this stuff in here. Move this off to the side, because normally when I make bread, I look for the dough to be done when it's all came clean from the sides, right? So this is not like that. So we'll put a little flour down here. And we're also going to want to flour the top, because we're going to score this and make it pretty. As pretty as I possibly can, anyway. I'm not worried about having too much flour, because it's going to be flour-rific once I put the top of it on. So it's got that nice presentation. Am I in the camera? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so there we go with that. Knead this out a few times. I'm going to fold it over. Fold it over. And get that dough. Now we're starting to get dough. Around. This way. Pinch the bottom. I haven't seen Billy Lee in tonight. Am I just making that up in my head? One more flour. Roll that around in that flour a little bit more. Make sure there's no wet spots. You can do with that, Joe, what you want. Let's see. Put that in there. Form that up there. Nice little more flour on there, because we want this to look pretty when it's done. And that's it. Irish soda bread. You can sell that at the market for $20 on Monday. Sunday for sure. Let's see. Like I said, we'll just put a little flour on that, make it pretty. bread lane. Open it up. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting thirsty. Working up a powerful thirst here. Boy, that is a dense bread. There we go. I'm not ignoring you folks. Just trying to get my bread to look pretty. There we go. I think I'm about due for a new razor on here. There we go. Don't worry, I won't cut myself, I promise. And we'll add a little bit. Now we won't add the flour to the center. And we'll set that off to the side. The bread lame away. Wipe that. I'm going to dangerously wipe that off. You know, don't do this at home. Don't do this part. It's not what you're supposed to do. Okay, set that over there for just a second. Move this bowl. We're about finished, except for the cook times. Cook times are the good times. We'll mop this. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to bump you. Set that over to the side for a second while I wipe this up as best as I possibly can for now. Lint-free rags, folks, they are what it's all about. The only thing I don't like about lint-free rags is if you hit your cast iron with it when it's good and piping, blasting hot, it will 100% stick and melt if you have the real cheap ones. I've done that with the pan that I'm just getting ready to grab for this. I have done that. I've used lint-free to wipe it off when it was blasting hot, and it melted right to the same griddle that I'm getting ready to use. And I had to completely, because it was a lodge and it has that texture, I could not get that plasticky residue off of there to save my life. So I had to completely throw it in the lye and strip it back down. Let's see here. Throw the bread back in the middle. Oh wait, no, not yet. Put that right there. Now, I'm not going to throw much down on there, but I am going to drop just a little bit of olive oil, just a smidge on there, and a little bit of flour. So, let me find, there's my paper towel. There we go. All right. I probably should have used, you know what, I think I'm going to wipe this off, and I think for the high smoke point, I think I'm going to grab a little bit of grapeseed oil down, and we're just going to go with that. I'll wipe this back off. Olive oil was just sitting right here, but I do have a smidge of grapeseed oil right here that needs to be, where I need to empty this jar. There we go. Okay, let's check those out. Ooh, looking good. Looking good. We'll turn the timer off, and I'll set it back for a minute so I don't forget it. Get this high smoke point oil on there. Just add a little something. Hopefully it doesn't mess up my bottom too much. I am going to put a little flour on there just to make my soul feel a little bit better, like I'm doing the right thing today. Give it a little distance. Okay, Set that off right there. We're gonna pop this onto here. Floured up, looking good. That's looking pretty. Okay, we'll set this off to the side for a minute. Just for a minute. And I'm gonna grab a toothpick that I have right here, and we're gonna do the toothpick test on those and see where we're at. Okay, yep, I heard you. I heard you the first time. Let's see, that did not come off clean in the number 3. Let's see what we have on the lodge. We'll move you guys over here. Put you guys back into the action. I'm gonna give it another 5 and see where we're at, because these are not, if you can see that, it's still got a little bacon yet to do. So there we go. But while we're sitting here talking about St. Patrick's Day and corned beef, we'll give this a look-see and see where I'm at with this. How are we doing? There we go. Got some corned beef. I've got my corned beef submerged with a couple potatoes. There's actually another potato in there. Keeping it honest. Trying to keep it honest. Then right before it's done, I'll throw some cabbage on there. That's I don't know. Could anybody even see that? I'm sorry. I didn't even. We'll get a good. Not like I don't have time. Do another timer for 5 minutes on that. There we go. We'll bring you over and let you look at the corned beast. There we go. That's in there looking really fatty, like a bagged corned beef should. The potatoes in there. And I'll peel off some cabbage and throw in there toward the end. This has just been simmering. I put this in about, I'd say, maybe 4-ish. Something like that. 4-ish o'clock. And then I'll catch up on some of the comments. See what's going on back here. Let's see, yum corned beef. Yeah, I can't. This is going to be a good, I don't know if the corned beef, like I said, this isn't really much of a corned beef video. But I know that tonight's dinner is going to be pretty darn good. Which I don't know, I've been on the run. I had to take the dog to the groomer today and that kind of stuff, which was the dog groomer story. If I got it completely into that, I'd just lose my mind. We went there at 10:50 to get the dog's nails trimmed, and this is nothing else, no bath, no shampoo. The dog wasn't shampooed. Didn't have her pads redone, nothing. No nothing. Snip, snip. That's all we needed. 20 snips, and I was supposed to be out of there, right? They said, bring her in, walk in, no problem, get there. No red potato. I do not do red potatoes. No, I don't do red potatoes. But, so at 10:50, I walk in the door to take this dog to get her snip, snip 20 times. I left out of there at 12:35. Absolutely livid. They were bringing people's dogs in front of me left and right. I'm standing right by the door. And they were like, well, they had appointments. I'm like, well, they told me to walk in. So you do the math on that one. Go in at 10:50. I get it. And my dog is absolute none of my dog. Everybody thinks the dog's cool because they see her here. And it's just me and Ming usually with the dog. And a lot of times just me. And around other people, this dog turns into a complete psycho. Just pulling on her leash and jumping and licking and barking and all this stuff. And so there I stood for a good hour. Basically, it's an hour and a half of standing in a pet store that's nobody's ever in this pet store when I go in normally. But once I'm in this pet store today, there's people in and out. There's people buying snakes. There's people buying ferrets. there's people looking at buying parrots. I mean, it's parrots, ferrets, turtles, you name it. People are buying, and everybody. I don't know why in the middle of the day, on a Thursday, there's kids. There's like kids all over the place. Why weren't these children in school, for heaven's sakes? I mean, that was just, I mean, there was kids everywhere. I don't mind a kid, but geez, with Pete's, man. Screaming, running, doing all that. Hour and a half. And finally, while they had her back there, they finally took her back there. And so they were like, it's going to be like 15, 20 minutes. Right next door to the pet store, ironically, is the grocery, is a small supermarket. Ironically, right next to the pet store, right? So I needed just a couple things for the rest of the week. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I go run my butt off over to the grocery. I mean, I'm like winging around. Didn't even grab a cart, didn't grab a basket. That was how little I needed. I go, I check out, self-checkout, no problem. Back in the car, drive back over next. Well, there's a street that separates the pet store from the grocery. Drive back across the street. I go in there. My dog's still sitting there. Still sitting there. Nobody's getting groomed. None of the underdogs are getting groomed. They're sitting in cages. My dog's sitting there. And I'm like, are we serious? I sat there for another half an hour waiting on 20 toes to be snipped off. Insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, so we're going to give this another look. I'm going to break a trivet out so I can set these hands off onto the counter in their hopefully grace and good glory. Hopefully these things are done. So we started at 20, we put another 25, another 5, so we're 25 minutes into the smaller pans. This is not how this was supposed to be. Well, we'll see if that makes any difference. Plus it's cast, I should have, it's cast iron, so you gotta give it another 5 minutes to at least heat up. Right? That's the rule? Or did I just make that up just now right on the spot? I think I did. Okay, so we're gonna go toothpick it again. See what happens. They're looking really good. Okay. The Griswold still needs another little bit longer, and I wish I could go ahead and stick this stick the soda bread in there, but that is not, so that's not how that works. Oh, I think these ones in the Griswold are about where we need to be. Oh, I think we're about due to take this one out. Oh, it's feeling nice and dense. Get another I'll flip this toothpick around, check it out. Yeah, I'm thinking that these are pretty cool. Yeah, we're good. That is a go, Houston. So we got the shark. And I'll need another pot holder. And we'll pull these out. There we go. How does that look, huh? That's looking pretty stout, if you ask me. That's what the kids at school are talking about. Now that looks pretty darn good. Take it. We'll let that marinate in there for a minute. But like I said, once I got it out, we'll do another toothpick test. These little Lodge pans, man, I really dig on these. And this smells like really, really good gingerbread. Yeah. There we go. See, that's It's nice and dense. It's a really dense cake. Very, very, very dense. And I checked that one, checked this one in the front. For whatever reason, that's where sometimes they do have trouble in these pans. Totally, totally clean. We'll take that. We'll let that sit for a minute. And this will probably be about ready to cut once the other one comes out. You know, let's check the, let's take its temperature. Because I really think that was the way that was supposed to go. Yeah, I'm way up there. I'm at, you guys can't see it. But I'm at 205. I mean, it's dropped down to 205. That pork's 100%. So nobody's getting ptomaine tonight, as far as I know. As far as we can tell at this point. I'm staying right about 205 on all the pieces, so I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with that. And like I said, it didn't say anything in the recipe about not doing that. And you boil the water, so I mean, other than to render the fat out, that's what that's for, is to render that fat out. So I'd say mission accomplished as far as that goes. Let me grab my little handy dandy mini spatula that I think everybody and their brother should own. If I ever get one of those fancy Amazon accounts, I'm going to recommend and put that in my description because I love these things. And I always hate when I see people take butter knives. I know this is just me. Don't be offended. But it drives me nuts when I see people do the butter knives on there. Because it has those little serrated edges. I know it doesn't make any difference. But to me, in my mind, it does. Because I'm crazy like that. Kind of meticulous as I do things. But those little serrated edges on a butter knife, on a tender knife, makes me a little weird. I don't mess with it too much, but I'm going to, because I'm like that. But like I said, give this a minute. I also want to check the crucible as well. I mean, that number 3 is not the deepest thing. Ooh, I got a little extra. I got a little stack. That's exactly what I remember. That's exactly what I was after. That was exactly what I remember. Okay. But we'll put this to the back burner for a second. These are fairly cool. Enough for that. There we go. Let's bring our other one up here. Because that number 3 is, well, we all know, pretty small. So let me give this one, give the number 3 a check. And that's the one I really want to flip that one. I want to flip that one. Because that was always my aunt's pan, and she was the last person that ever made this for me, pork cake. And so it's kind of like, and it's her pan for the most part. It's one I don't remember a lot of people using cast iron as a kid, but she was pretty infamous for the one egg. And she would make one egg in her a little Griswold number 3. I just remember that every Saturday morning. Or when she would have to work, she would make just one egg. Sunspots. Yeah, man, solar flares are real. Don't take them lightly. Sounds like it's talking into a fan. I am talking into a fan. I have the fan on. How about that? Is that better? A lot better, huh? Yeah, suddenly the sound is good again. Yeah. I do have a bad habit of leaving that on, by the way. But since we're at that point, Let's see how. Now with corned beef, I never check the temperature on a corned beef. It's whether or not it falls apart or not. So let's just break something out and we'll come over here, swing around and see if our corned beef is anywhere near done enough. Ooh, there we go. Let's see here. All right. Let's see what's going on. Like I said, there's no way that that's anywhere near. Yeah, if you can take, it's getting close though, kids. And it's getting pretty darn close. It's getting there. It's not stringy. I like mine a little stringy. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the stringy, but I am a fan of the stringy. There is just some sweet goodness of a nice bagged St. Patrick's Day corned beef right there. That's what you need. Just slightly bubbling. All right. There we go. So that's looking nuts. Ooh, sorry, bumped into you again. But yeah. So far so good, I'd say. I don't know what time it is. Probably throw my clock right on. Oh, it's 8:17. So it's not late by any stretch. We'll go back over and look at this gorgeous thing. But I think I might just pop a piece out just to cure my curiosity. See what happens. Now, as sticky as this is, I don't expect it to, as sticky with all the molasses and everything in there, I don't expect it to just pop out like a piece of cornbread. And I'm probably taking this out just a little too early. If I was super cool, I'd put it outside, but I'm not. There we go, not too bad. A little stick. That's not stuck, yeah, that didn't stick. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty. Pretty as a picture, as they say. There we go. Just a little. I'm gonna let that rest in there for another couple of minutes because it's not sticky like it's not like, but there's a lot, when you throw a cup of molasses into anything, it's going to be a little on the stuck side. It's going to be a little chewy like that, but man, I'm going to get a little dish here because that warrants some butter. So we're going to stick that on there. And we're going to take a little butter because you got to have this. You got to have it. One of the things is in the recipe, in the actual Ohio Pioneer recipe, it calls for that to be eaten warm with butter. So we're going to take a little bit of my butter and we're just going to paste that on there like yay. And let that ooze into there for a second while I toothpick the other cake a second, which has risen up huge, and it is not done. It's not done in the center. No, it's not done in the center, but that's okay. So we'll give this a day in court because I've been waiting on this for years. It's got a nice crispy top, real tender. You can see the consistency of it right there. It's a really dense bread, really dense cake. There you go. That's a little better. But that is, yeah, if you've never made it, Ohio Pioneer pork cake is where it's at. I did flash the recipe up at the very beginning. Go back and check it out. And definitely with the, you don't have to pulverize the clove, of course, but I tell you what, that clove being pulverized, it just stands out. It has it's such a good forward flavor. Yeah, that's so good. Makes me want to get a glass of milk. But the other one is really taking putting a big kibosh on my soda bread right now because I gotta go up another 100 degrees to do the soda bread. That's a definite. Super good. And like I said, that excuse me, that clove makes so much difference. That just that little bit of pulverized clove makes that so forward. I wish I would have had I wish I would have ground all of them, but pulverized all of them, but you know, it is what it is. And that's a really delicious, that's something to add to your holidays, St. Patrick's Day. And you know, you saw me do it in about an hour, so it's not, and it was cheap. I mean, it wasn't anything, you know, raisins, molasses. I think that jar of molasses is like $3, $4. Flour. I mean, you're talking about a really cheap dessert that people they'll be surprised when you say pork cake and then they eat that because there's absolutely no pork flavor to that whatsoever, not a bit. You can't even tell. So it did have me startled there at the beginning. I gotta admit, but it never said anywhere about being cooked pork. And there's so I don't know. Sometimes I get paranoid when I cook around other people when I cook for people on the internet. So let's see. Clove is a spice with authority. Yeah, it really is. And having that crap, and I just bought that clove. I just picked that clove up last Thursday. I've only had it a week. I mean, the seal popped and everything when I took it off today. It's absolutely that's the freshest clove I've ever had. Let me see who else we got. Who else do we got in here? Um, that's as far as I can see. But yeah, let me straighten that up. I must have bumped it. Sorry. But yeah, that's gonna have a hard time sitting and making it through the weekend. Luckily, I do have a little bit more batter. I've got enough. I wish I had a number two. A number two skillet would be perfect. I do have that little number one over there, but I could have made a little taster of that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I don't think this three is gonna be done. So I'm gonna move this one off to the side. Yeah, that's cool enough. Corned beef is starting to smell really good. It's starting to smell a lot. It's starting to feel a lot like St. Patrick's Day. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And with that said, I think it's about time to have a little sip. Yeah, the corned beef smelling good. I've got actually off on the side. You guys can't see it, but I've got I've got my cabbage already laid out. I don't shred my cabbage either. I just peel the big leaves. I cut the heart out, and then I just peel the leaves. I layer that on the top. I let that blanch. Pull that out. Throw a ton of butter on it, and that's all it needs. That's all you need, as the song says. Let's see. Once seal pops, countdown timer starts. Yeah. Well, I go through a lot of clove. I know not next week because I've had about enough nitrates and carbohydrates in the last week between the spam, all this corned beef that I'm gonna have. I'm making cake. I'm making bread. I made 2 loaves of bread already since Sunday, and I've already eaten those. I got really good ham from the deli, and I've eaten 2 small loaves of homemade bread. I'm about to throw another loaf of bread in. I think next week's show is going to be how to make a salad because I'm just oh man, I am just full of nitrates and carbohydrates. And I don't know if I mentioned this either, but check this out. I will. I think I still have it sitting over here from the other day. Let me see if I do. If not, I hid it from myself. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember me saying in any of the lives that I couldn't find curing salts. So I went out and I bought this. This was the one I could find, and I thought, now I know if you can see the bottom of that right there, curing salt, right? Okay, so 2 pounds is what I went out and got, 2 pounds of salt. I passed over the 6 ounce, I passed over the 4 ounce, I passed over the 1 pound, the 12 ounce, I passed over all those. And this was on sale. So of course, me being me, I bought this one. Guess how much a corned beef goes or needs for curing salts? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah. It takes it's recommended for 1 teaspoon per 5 pounds of corned beef. I had a 3.7 corn round roast. So I needed about 3/4 of a teaspoon for this. I've got pink curing salt. It is non-GMO, so I got that going for me. But I've got curing salts for the rest of my life. I'm now going to be the curing salt plug in my town. If anybody needs curing salts in my town, I've got them, and I'm selling them cheap. I tell you that. I tell you that right now. I'm letting it go. I'm going to have a fire sale on pink curing salt. Let's do another test on the cake and see where that's at. Oh man, it's starting to firm up. Oh yeah. I think we're in business with this one now too. Because it's firm. This is such a dense cake that you can just tell when you stick put the toothpick in it that it's just ready to fly. It's ready to go to town. Yeah, I think we're good on that. I'm going to give that 2 more minutes because that's how my toothpick looked. That's how my toothpick is looking. But I've already used, I'll use a new one. Let me use a new one. I'll quit being cheap for 5 seconds. And splurge on a clean toothpick here real quick. And I'll see what you got. I think that I can pull this. I think this can be pulled. Because the top is cracked. And that looks pretty darn good. Oh, there it is. Can we see that? Am I going too close? There we go. But I think we're okay. I think I'm going to give it 1 more minute to kind of, and then we're going to pull that out and we're going to throw our other one in. We'll get that one staged up here. We didn't forget about it. And we'll go pull that off. Yeah. So there we go. Next week is going to be a salt giveaway. You're going to get, I have these things laying around, these little jars for my spices. And I think I have another box of them in the garage somewhere. And I think that's going to be the next thing. No matter what you win, you're going to get a container of pink curing salt. So just in case you want to make beef jerky or sausage, you want to home do your sausages, or You want to make this. I'm going to be willing. That's going to be in my will to my kids. Is that container of pink curing salt? It definitely is going to be. Good night, Mercy B. Let's see. Don't say good enough for God. Might hear. Elon might hear you. Let me see. I'm going to pull that off. And I'm going to, well, I'll set that there for just one more second. Because I'm going to ratchet this up to 450. We're going to get that on its way. And this does have a while to cook, so we might not be able to get this all in. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, we probably won't get this in unless we got some hardcores that want to hang out. But yeah, we won't. I don't expect you guys to stay for that. That just took me a little bit longer, that one, and it's such a big temperature difference that this one, and this was an extra. This was just something I threw in to show you guys how to make it, in case you wanted to do one, and all that. Really, it was the pork cake. That was the big one for tonight, and that came out fantastic. I'm so ready to smash a bunch of that. And I'm speaking of that, I'm also ready to have a little something to drink because it's Thirsty Thursday tonight, and tomorrow's Friday. I do not have to get up early tomorrow, so I'm going to have a little something to sip on while we finish off the rest of this. Let's see, I had a customer who used curing salt to make beef bacon, and it was very good. Yeah, that was one of the things on the back of the package. You cure your bacon with it. You can do a lot of things with it. It's just, is that in my wheelhouse? You know what I mean? I buy uncured. I do buy a lot of uncured bacon. But that's because I just don't want it to stick to. I don't like the sugar in it, so I don't like it sticking to the iron or leaving that residue. Beer cut, yeah. Yeah, but since it's a St. Patrick's Day show, and I don't have to work tomorrow, well, I do, but it's around here, so I'm kind of making my own hours. It'll be fine. Let's have a roadkill bake-off for the contest, for the content on Wednesday. Yeah, roadkill for Wednesday. I think after. I tell you what, I've seen Cast Iron Chaos pull off some stuff. He might be able to do a fairly good roadkill. And this is Ohio, so I'm sure roadkill's been had. I know around here in the wintertime that at least they used to, I don't know if they still do this or not, but if the sheriff, if you hit a deer, the sheriff will go and pull that deer off, and if it's in good shape, they donate it. There we go. They will donate your deer to somewhere. I don't remember where they would donate it to. Probably jail. Okay, so that's in. And let's take a good look at this. Let's take a good look at that. That came out fantastic. Smelling good, looking good. Looking like it's ready for its day in court. Let's do the molasses smell of this and that spice. There's just nothing like it. So we'll go in here, take that toothpick, and I think this one's going to go to my mom. Look at that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I could almost put that, I could use that later. We're getting the corned beef out of my teeth. But looky there. That's just fantastic. It really doesn't get much better than that. It's starting to pull away in that nice big pan. And it's Griswold. That's why Griswold's winning the contest. They're winning March Madness on my community page. Last I looked. I think it's a 3-round streak. Let's see, low income families. Is that what it is? I knew they did something with it. It went to a good place, no matter what they do with it. Yeah. Let me see what else we got here in the comment section. Radagast, how are you? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So, Bake Off Wednesday. Sorry, I'm just catching up. I'm just reading out loud. Let's see. In food banks. In food banks, yeah. Radagast. I was watching a little. I was watching. Oh, which one of the Hobbit movies was on today in the kitchen when I was. I don't. When I got home today. I can't remember which one it was. Makes me think that and Harry Potter makes me think of when I see that I think of your name now. It's funny. But yeah, so that's in there. We've got this going at 450. It's almost preheated, but I went ahead and put it in there anyway because um, that pan's got to heat up. So we're gonna give that's gonna take a minute or two to heat up anyway. I thought about using one of my vintage griddles that are a lot thinner, but you know, I didn't. But yeah, this is put this around the outside edge here. Let's see if that's pulled away real nice. I'm not gonna try and flip it. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna let this cool on its own. As nice as it is outside tonight, I could actually let it sit outside and cool. And you know, there's still no bugs yet, but it would cool down. It's probably like 45 degrees outside right now, maybe 50 at the most, but that's good cake and pie cooling temperature if you ask me. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. So I don't know. Do you guys want to hang out for the rest of it, or do you want me to cut the feed? Do you guys want to hang out, or I'm leaving this one in your guys' court because it's I've been at this for a little over, and I've been a little over an hour and a half. So if people want to stick around and see the results of that, I will let the camera go and let things. I'll leave the camera on and we can keep talking and shooting the breeze and wait for the corned beef to come off. Or if we lose a bunch of people, if a bunch of people are going to want to take off, because I understand it is still a Thursday night. Yeah, Fuzz, it was 68. It was. I'm not very far from you, a couple hours, and it was pretty darn. It was pretty darn warm, but it didn't warm up till later on in the afternoon. You do like see? I've never read the books, Radagast. I just watch the movies. I read magazines and vlogs and things like that. I just read magazines. I mean, I've read I've got books I've read. I have a I have a library of. I have bookshelves with actual books on them. But I have to be super into it. Up to you, honey. Yeah, I mean, I'll leave the camera on. I'm not. I just know I will always wait for corned beef. Sure, Greg. I mean, I'm working in the garage. Y'all keep gabbing. Okay, Strongs. I mean, if people are wanting to hang out, I will keep it rolling. I got nothing better to. I mean, I got nothing better to do than to. I'm just going to be hanging out here in front of the stove, waiting for this corned beef to be done, and all that kind of stuff. So. Let's see, William Hurt. I need to get on. Thanks, honey. Not all. Yes. Thanks, William Hurt, for coming by. Appreciate you. Okay, Granny Graham, you're going to listen while doing laundry. Nice. If you get done with that, my timer just went off right before I came on live. So there is towels and dish rags that need folded. So if you get done with that, you can always... let's see, I worked 1 hour today and nothing tomorrow, so I'll stick around. All right, Radagast, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll do this for a little while. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to figure out, I'm probably going to get another, I've got a little bit more of this batter left from the what do you call it? The pork cake here. And let me see how much I got here. I have just enough. I just have enough to save to where if I didn't save it, I would feel bad. But if I threw it in the trash tomorrow, I wouldn't even remember that I threw it in the trash. But that's just how I am. Let's see how catch the rest of tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Smoking Bears. All right, buddy. Enjoy that. Enjoy all that cast iron you've picked up here recently. You've gotten some good stuff. Let me see. And check out Smoking Bears does a live on Sundays 9 a.m. Does a family cook. That's always a nice time. I do show up for that most Sundays if I'm up. I do stop in and say hello to them. It's a family show where he cooks with his younger daughters and his friend Rusty, who was on here earlier. All right, now the timer will go off on here. Now I want to only do that. I'm only going to do this for 10 minutes. I'm going to do the because that's already been in there. Let me pop the light on so I can see what I've got going on. So we'll do 15 minutes at 450, and then I'm going to drop that back to 400 for about 20 minutes, and it should be nice and gold. When it turns golden brown, it's done. That's what it said, because it's a really small, dense loaf. There's not much to it. You know, it's just enough buttermilk and dough or flour to put it together, and that's it. And there's, once again, I mean, there wasn't hardly anything to leaven it up, except for that little bit, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So that was about it. But yeah, I'll see what you guys think. I'll set this off to the side. That's just, oh my gosh. And it's starting to pull, if you can see it up at the top, like at the very top there, where that's just pulled away real nice. Yeah, that's where it's at. That is where it's at. And then that pan's cooled down to almost to the touch. But I'll pull this over here and see what you guys think. If we have enough to put, that thing's now, that bowl's had it. that bowl's been hit, hasn't it? That thing's seen better days. But yeah, that's what I have left of the batter. I think that's about enough for, literally, if I had a number 2, that would be the perfect size. But I do not have any 2s. Yeah. Yeah, that's, then the bowl's huge. That's, I think that's, is that the biggest? No, I think that's the 5-quart bowl. Because it had, like, from a set of 3 or 4. Oh, buffering. Getting that buffering in there. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's make sure we're still in. Larry Perkins, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Just pulled off a pork cake. Just pulled some pork cake off. Got the corn beast back there simmering down of 77. The one I watched, now see the other one, not last, was it last? It might have been last night. The one from 77, the Snog was in it, and Schmiegel was in it. I'm trying to think which one that was. If that's just the Hobbit. I think that was just the Hobbit. Stormy your bad signal, going to call it. Not all. See you, Rick. Check your mail tomorrow, Rick. You might have a nice big box in your mail at the post office, because that was definitely on its way. I haven't seen Frank Morello tonight. Hoping that he's okay. Use a cupcake tin. Huh. What do I got as far as a cupcake tin goes? Trying to think what I have as far as cupcake tins go. Yeah, then the animated Lord of the Rings movie. I think it was The Hobbit. There was the one where he shoots Snog with because he's got a missing scale. I always forget which one that is. That was the one I remember from being a kid. I remember the story. I just never remember the name of it. I love that stuff, and it was so cool that my daughters got into Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and all that stuff. So it was no when it was time to go to the movies, you know, a lot of parents were like, "Oh, I don't want to go see that," and blah blah blah. Man, I was right there. I'm like, let's go see it on the big screen. And I'm a big movie guy. I love movies. Always loved movies. I love going to the movie theater. One of the cool things about the little town I live in is it has the 1935 movie theater that's been here forever. It might even be a little, is it 25? It might be 25, 1925. 1925, 1935 movie theater. And I love going. Now they're on a stint right now. A group has taken it over. The original owner's family just sold it, and it's went to a group that's trying to keep it running. And so to generate cash, they're doing a lot of little kids movies like what's the Hedgehog? Is it Hedgehog? Is that his name? Hedgehog? I don't know. But yeah, we won't judge if I use non-cast iron. I don't. You know, that's the thing. I don't have really much non-cast iron. That's the other sticky situation that I'm in right now. I could use the little number one favorite that I have. I've washed it and I've oiled it, but I have not seasoned it. And I've got to look. And I haven't. And I haven't lead tested it. That's why I haven't seasoned it yet. That's why I haven't completed it, because I just got lead tests, or I just found my lead test the other day. I have to lead test that one before I use it. Yeah, they are numbered. And what's cool is, you know, this little town that I live in is sort of like it's like a place from the past where everything's in this town. Like I can't think of too many things that aren't actually in my town. So people don't really leave. Like, I left today to go get the dog groomed, and that's the first time I've left town in 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. I just never I've just never there's just so much here. I mean, you don't need anything. You know, I've got a hardware store, I've got a auto parts store. There's even a laundromat if you need to do, you know, like when I would do work clothes, I just take it to the laundromat and do that. Pharmacy, doctor's offices, gas stations, little grocery store. Yeah, I mean, there's just swimming pool. And even tonight, which I was really super stoked about, we have what's called the treat trike, like a three-wheeled bicycle trike, and it has a refrigerator on it. It has a freezer, and it has custom ice cream, handmade ice cream that they sell off the treat trike. And tonight was the first night of the treat trike to come out and do their ice cream. So that was like a big thing. And there was a line, you know, half a block for homemade ice cream in the treat trike. It was super cool. S&J, what's up? Good to see you. But yeah, I mean, this town's awesome. I mean, if I end up making this my last stop, I mean, I could have done a lot worse. I've got a park right down the street, like literally down the street with, you know, the quarter-mile track, and it's in the middle of the woods, which is really scenic, and, you know, it's, I like the anime. I like the anime. I like both. Richard Bond was the best etched dog. Is that the voice of the original in the animated? Yeah, not bad. I've never really looked to see who, you know, kind of like the Bankin and Rankin and Bass, you know, those Christmas and holidays. You know, they used really famous voices as, you know, like trying to think of the guy's name. See how the corned beef's doing. Oh yeah, it's great. That's boiled meat. Yeah, that's starting to. It's got a little more time. It's not falling apart. I can get it through there, but the potatoes have all kind of. I like the potatoes to weigh it down, and be little buoys in there, but they're slacking. And they keep it, I don't want that side up. I want the fat side up. I always do the fat side up with my corned beef so that it doesn't burn. So the bottom doesn't, on the float, it doesn't burn up. There we go. Keep that fat in there. Kind of rendering on the top is what I meant to say. But yeah, Burl Ives from all the Bass, the Bass and Rankin still frame movies. He was great. Love that guy. Let me see here. Let's catch up on these things. Let's see. I like the animated Hobbit. There we go. Oh, we still got some people in here. We still are at 16. A lot of likes. That's always good. And we are at. Oh, okay. Yeah, that threw me off. I'm at like 4 minutes on the clock, and I'm like, oh my God, did I just 45 minutes just go by? But no, that's my 15 minutes for 450, and then we'll drop that down to 400, and we'll do that for another 20. I'll take the internal temperature of that, and then that should be Orson Bean. I don't know who any of these people are, which is pretty. Make pork shoulder boiled dinner like a corned beef dinner. Yeah, that's always good too. I love good pork shoulder. But yeah, Radagast, I don't know who any of those folks are that, those voices. Unless they're English, and that's maybe why I don't know them. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know who they are. I don't know those voices. Or the names to the voices. And I'm usually pretty good about that. I usually know, who. I'm a credit reader at the end. When records and cassettes were a big thing, I used to always read the inside album covers and the cassette covers and all that kind of stuff. Just published the recipe for last night's meat and potato pie. Oh, good. If you wouldn't have said that wasn't a recipe, nobody would have known. Nobody would have been nobody would have been any the wiser to that if you wouldn't have said it. And I mean that 100%. That looked really good. It looked like it was almost like like you said, shepherd's pie, but with Cole Cannon on top. Forgive me for not doing Guinness tonight. Malted barley is just heavily malted barley just did not sound good to me today. I've just had so much heavy food. I'm a hearty eater, and I like a lot of hearty food, but man, I'll tell you what, with Guinness, when it comes to Guinness, Guinness, I can drink like one draft one with food, and I'm automatically full. I feel like I've drank regular, that deep roasted malt is really, to me, it's super heavy. I mean, I can remember, if you ever get a Guinness and you pour it slow enough into a glass, you can actually take the cap from the bottle and you can set it on top of a properly poured Guinness. And I'll say I've done it once or twice. I've done that once or twice with Guinness caps. Let's see. Yeah, that was, but like I said, yeah, it is. It's like drinking a loaf of bread. I mean, it's heavy. I do like it, and I even went through a thing when I was a lot younger. Me and my best friend growing up, we would drink it warm. We tried to be like the English kids or the Irish kids, English kids. God forbid. But we used to try to do it like the Irish did it and drink the warm Guinness. And I tell you what, I don't know how we did it, and actually, our livers survived. But it's very, very, very heavy, super heavy. Okay, so we're getting ready to go down to 400 degrees. I'm starting to get some toast at the top of the bread, which is what I want. I should have floured it a little more. I'm really trying to work on that whole presentation of the bread kind of thing. And so And there are different flouring techniques. There's different ways to cut it and all that kind of stuff. Because, like I said, it's somewhere during tonight's stream, gravy and bread has been my nonstop for the past 6 months. I've sat here for hours and hours and hours making gravy from this, making gravy from that. I mean, whether it's beef broth, beef stock, all that kind of stuff. I've just 150% been gravy maker. And I just to kind of get off track a little bit, if you guys have not tried Kentucky Colonel seasoned flour and cut that in half with, pour it into a jar and cut it in half with regular all-purpose flour and use that for your sausage gravy, you're really seriously missing out. That is just like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like if Kentucky Fried Chicken, back when it was really good, and they made sausage gravy, that's what it would taste like. That's the only thing I can possibly even compare it to. But anyway. So, let me see. I am looking to see if I have anything at all to make the rest of that batter, or if I'm just going to say "c'est la vie" to the batter and throw. I could always put it in a bowl. So that's one of the things. Let's see. My brother worked for a beer distributor, carried Guinness and Miller. They told him Guinness has less calories and less alcohol than Miller Lite. I mean, maybe, but that roasted malt it's hearty, and that's the difference. The malt. I've made a few batches of beer in my day, and the roasted malt is that's really where it is, and the amount of like your hops bags and the things you boil your water with. The malt that's a lot of where, because beer is sort of like kind of like bread in its own way. If you make a loaf of bread, you seriously don't add a lot of sugar to it. And I think and then as you make beer, the same thing applies. You go for every gallon is a teaspoon of sugar, and that's it. So and Guinness being very, very bitter, I could see that being 100%. Let me see what else we got here. Let me see again. It's like, yeah. So yeah, but I mean 100%. So anyhow, I think what I'm going to do with this, so that I'm not making this for another thing, and plus I thought I could probably, my mom, she would probably she has little muffin tins and stuff. And I know I'm going to take her some of this, but I bet she would also like to just have some to make later on in the week. So I'm going to put some in a little Anchor hocking dish, and go from there with that. And then I'll pop that off to the side. I'm not going to worry about that. I got enough carbs to last me for quite some time as I sit here and have a beer. Let me see here. I'm going to plug my camera in here real quick though. Modelo Negro is a very good dark beer. Give it a try. I have had that. Modelo's good. I mean, I got no qualm with Modelo. I have no problem with Modelo at all. It's a good beer. But yeah, let me grab my camera, or my charger for my camera, so I can put that on there. It's I'm down to about 10%. So stick that up here. Let's see. Sounds good. Yeah, Modelo is really good beer. There's another one, and it's only, there's another Mexican beer that's not bad. And I had a friend of mine who worked for a distributor. He was a salesman for this one, and I can't remember the name of the other Mexican beer that he used to rep for. And it only had, if I remember right, it only had like three letters in the name. I'm trying to think. But anyway, so I'm gonna move this over here, and I'm gonna put this in a little Anchor hocking dish. Miller Lite or you ain't right. Miller Lite, I mean, there's a real interesting story behind Miller Lite. There used to be a beer that was brewed up in Toledo, Ohio, and I'm trying to remember the name of it off the top of my head, which, you know, doesn't do anybody any good. No, not Dos Equis. It had like, it was a three-letter name, and I'm trying to think of what it is. If I didn't have my monitor jammed up right now, I'd look it up. But oh man, yeah. But Miller Lite, the company that we used to be in Toledo that made their own beer, is a small brewery, local brewery, back in the day, and they went out of business, or were bought out by Miller, one of the two, and the recipe that they used to make their beer is what now is Miller Lite. Because I think Miller Lite came out in like the late 70s. Wasn't that when? I remember Bob Euchre and Bubba Smith. They used to do the Miller Lite commercials, the taste great, less filling commercials back in the day. I remember Bubba Smith. If you remember Bubba Smith, you've got a good memory about football. Let's see here. Let me see about like making love in a canoe. Too close to the water. I've never heard that one. That's a good one. Too close to the water. Speaking of water, I used to drink. We used to drink Olympia beer. I shouldn't say used to. I would still drink Olympia beer if it was. When I see it, I'll buy some just for memory's sake. But we used to call that. It was and their slogan was "It's the water." So we used to call it the Waters back in the day. Let me see. Yeah, I think that'll work. But that was all I had, so that really wasn't worth making. But my mom has everything. She has all kinds of crazy dishes, and I think my mom actually has like a ton of small Guardian service pans and platters and whatnot, like tons of that stuff. I'm gonna kind of clear my space. Oh, I hate my kitchen being dirty. I can stand the rest of the house being a mess. The bathroom and the kitchen, they got to be clean. Have to be clean. Because the kitchen, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So let me just move some of this stuff out so it doesn't make me completely neurotic. Let's see. White Mountain Girl. There she is. There she is, Miss America. Glad you could show up. Here, I'll show you a picture. I'll show you the pork cake. There you go. Yeah, there she is. There, that's it. And you're missing it out, not having a piece. There you go. Oh, it's delicious. It's exactly Soul Beer. That was Greg Hart, 100% right there. Give that man a prize. Yeah, White Mountain Girl. It is exactly how I remember my gram making it. It came out perfect. And there was actually a snafu in the beginning because I made it and then I started to doubt myself because I was in front of like all these people. And then I'm like, man, was I supposed to cook the pork or not cook the pork? And so I had like a freak out. I didn't freak out, but it just like, it racked my nerves for a minute because I thought that I'd completely screwed up this whole thing before the very beginning. So, but I was right. The pork didn't need to be cooked. The boiling water took care of it, and then we took it up to the proper temperature for baking. And you cannot taste pork in that at all. It's just it's a way that back in the day they would cook by using the meat in the cake, because if they didn't have grease and butter. So that's what that was. Let's see. Sol is a Mexican beer. It's kind of like Dos Equis and like that. Modelo. It's just another another Mexican brand of beer, which is pretty good. It's not bad. Huey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. You're just in time for pork cake. Yeah, you've been out working. Yeah, I'm gonna redo some iron tomorrow. I've got a long list that's way overdue. I've got a I got a set of 70s or 80s Wagner that somebody dropped off at my house. I got to get those done, and they didn't want them back, so I'm stuck now with all these Wagner, and I got to figure out what to do with them. Yeah, it's a fan. My Graham used to make this. It's called the Ohio Pioneer pork cake recipe, and it's from like 1905, something like that. That's when that was published. But it's a pioneer recipe, and it's fantastic. And then I did these came out too. I did these. It's supposed to be done in a loaf pan, but I took one of these out and I did try it already. So is what it is. But I think I'm going to leave that one in there. I think I'm going to leave this one in there for the thumbnail for right now. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's just it's and then I did I ground up the clove and everything like that. It was so good. It was really good. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I could do worse than Wagner, but I'll tell you what, these Wagner, when you get into like the late 70s, 80s, possibly even into the 90s Wagner, of just the regular Wagner ware, it's so rough on the outside that, I mean, I had to, for the ones that I've already restored on those, I literally had to use a paintbrush to put avocado oil on them. I didn't even try and put my own cast iron cure on them. I just did avocado oil with a paintbrush because it kept shredding the rags. It was just that rough, and I'm not gonna, I wasn't gonna mess around like that. I'm just, I'm past it. You know what I mean? Years ago, I would have labored through it. The insides are nice. They got nice swirls in them, things like that. But I just, at this point in the game, I don't care about it like that. Let's see, 1891s that are ground look great when they're restored. They ground the outside because the insides they don't seem to be. I don't know. I had somebody try and sell me some 1891s not too long ago, and I just was like, no, I'm not paying. I'm not. And it was new in the box, and I thought about flipping it, but there wasn't enough meat on the bone for me to flip it and ship it and make any money off of it. So I just told him go on down the road with it. I just didn't. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I ain't got time for that, son. You know how it is. On a set of 1891 toys in the box. Yeah, they're just, Larry Perkins, they are just not, I don't know. You gotta find the right people for it. Some people love them. Some people collect them. Some people, they'll die on that 1891 hill. But I don't have any interest in it. The only one of Wagner that I would find from that that time period that has any interest to me is Wagner did a skillet for the 1993 Shelby County Fair, which is where Wagner was located in Shelby County, Ohio, and I was actually at that fair for whatever reason. I think I was working. Not at the fair, not like I was working like in one of the that's when I was in college. I used to do sales in college, and I was there in one of our promotion booths, doing I don't know, repping, sales rep, and but I was actually at the 1993 Shelby County Fair, and Wagner did make a pan for that, and you can find them, and they're fairly cheap, but it's just finding one of them, that's the hard part. But anyway. But I would like to find one of those. Let me see. What else? Who else we got? What else we got? So we got about 7 minutes left on the soda bread. I'm hoping that I'm gonna pop this open. I don't like to pop these open and look, but that's looking really toasty. That's actually looking not too bad. I need to have a more of a mobile camera stand where I can. And maybe actually 2 cameras so I can kind of pan around a little better than what I have just on this stand. Let's see. Now we still got a good amount of people in here. And I'll say, like always, if you haven't already hit the like button and the subscribe button, please do hit that little bell thing on there, so you know when these lives are. They're generally 7 o'clock on Thursdays, and then I'll do some here and there, and do, you know, that way you know when the shorts come out, new videos, all that kind of stuff, because this is kind of what I do here and there. But yeah, so that'll be my thumbnail. That'll be a good thumbnail. And I think this might actually turn out to where the cornbread. I keep wanting to say cornbread instead of corned beef, but the corned beef and the soda bread will come out at the same time. I think that might happen. Oh, I got my gloves right there. And actually, to be honest, this really wasn't that big of a mess. I thought it was going to be messier than it was, but I've got, you know, just a few bowls and some stuff like that, and so that wasn't even really that bad. I'm actually pretty surprised. Oh man, we need some comments. You guys are probably messaging each other in the on Facebook. Let's see. But yeah, we got about 5 minutes. I'm gonna take the temperature on the 6 o'clock here. It's a little early for me. 6 o'clock here, huh? So you're way on the other side. It's a little early for me. 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the evening. Let's see, I was late. What pan did you use on the cake? The one right here is the number 3 large logo Griswold, and then the other one over here is the Lodge cornbread dual handle that I got a few years ago, and I really like that pan. I honestly really like that. It That's good, and I've had really no trouble with like sticking. The first time I used it, it was on Martha White raspberry blueberry muffin mix that I got from Cornbread Festival, and they just flipped right out of there. It was great. Let's see, what time am I in? I am in Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Ohio. I'm on the very edge. Like Eastern Standard Time runs out about 30, maybe 30 miles from me, west. So, yeah, so we still have, which I really like being on that part, because we have the sun the longest, like in New York City, places like that. Their sun goes down way before ours does, even though they're in the same time zone. But they get up way earlier than me, which I like. Like that. Larry Perkins, you're in Ohio also. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, there's a few Ohio folks that come into this stream. I think Fuzz is probably gone. I haven't seen him comment in a while. Oh, and there's the Biggs coming in to get a drink. There's the birthday girl. It's birthday girl week. She will be 1 year old on St. Patrick's Day on Monday. So, and she had a big day. She went to the groomer. She was the groomer for about an hour. About an hour and a half. They gave her a ton of snacks. She got to go smell the cats. So start time here 6. Oh, start time. Yeah, start time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The reason I chose 7 o'clock is Luis of Luis Cast Iron used to do, and he's in Nevada, and he would go on at 9 o'clock on Thursdays. So I chose, Mondays were never good for me. Tuesdays, I didn't want to work around Mudbrooker. Cast Iron Chaos is done live on Wednesday forever. And Luis started really late on Thursday. He didn't start till 9 o'clock my time. So I had 2 hours before Luis came on. And so I chose Thursdays at 7. So yeah, it is early for the people, you know, west of the Mississippi. It's a little, toenail cam on the beags. I know, right? She should have had one today. She was hamming it up, man. She was loving all the attention she was getting at the pet store. She's a character. She's a good dog. But she was just like I said. She's one of those. The beagle is one of those that just is not good around a lot of people. She's cool here. She's super smart. Does a ton of tricks, and listens real good. Goes everywhere with me. Rides in the car nice. But when she gets around other people, she just loses her mind. And you know, she's still a puppy, and she's a very reactive dog. She does reactive dog things. You know, if she hears a twig snap a mile away, she's gonna look and she's gonna want to see what it is. It's just her breed. It's what they do. So, but I was ready, and when you have an animal like that and you're around all these people, but I was ready to go, man. I was like, come on, man. It's 20 toenails. Let's get out of here. She will let you know when the corned beef is done. Yeah, I don't, yeah, she's down for some corned beef. She had chicken today. She's been having chicken most of the day. Chicken thighs. They were on sale, and let's see. Yeah, the chicken thighs were on sale like a few days ago for like dirt cheap, cheaper than dog food. So I went and got her a bunch of chicken thighs, and I made them up with nothing on them. They were real plain. So I did that and put some peas and carrots in them. So she's been having that mostly for dinner. She's got some kibble in her bowl, but mostly she had chicken and peas and carrots today. Yeah, the white beard. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was white. It was not white 2 years ago. My beard was completely black until 2 years ago. I messed my beard up and I shaved it off, and it came back and it was totally as white as it is today. It drives me nuts. I appreciate your compliment though. Oh, there's the bread alarm. Yeah. And I'm, owning a beard product company. I'm kind of stuck with the beard, so I might as well enjoy it, And I do appreciate the compliment, though. It's just my beard was so black until a couple years ago, and now it is came back white. So when they say don't shave your hair off, if you shave your hair off, it doesn't do anything. Those people are liars. Let's check the temp on this. Let me see here. The internal temp on my bread is going up and is at 185. Oh, wait here. 191. I say 5 minutes and I pull it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to let the center go, and then I'm gonna pull this out. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I appreciate it. Gives me something to do. But I would be doing this anyway. This is what I'd be doing. So I'm glad you guys are here. And hitting the like button. That's so appreciative that I get. It's hard to, there's not many channels can say, I know I've said this a million times, but it's not many channels that get as many likes as they have viewers. So that's pretty cool. I'm down for that. And I don't do it for likes and views. It does help because I do this full time, and we'll be expanding it a lot more in the near future. But for now, I'm just doing the live streams and some shorts until I get a little better with the technology and all that. And then we'll do some other stuff. We'll do some live cooking. I'm working on more collabs like we had with Artie Bliss, and having him come in, or I've got a few things lined up to go to visit some other collectors. Because one of the things about being in Ohio, and I'm not sure how it is in the rest of the country, but Ohio is steeped in cast iron collectors. and some of the best. Just like we have some of the best cast iron in the world ever that was ever made, we have some of the best collectors that are super knowledgeable. And one of the things I really like about collecting with the around the guys in Ohio is it's not a competition. It's not how many cast iron pieces you have or what you got. They all share their knowledge. We all, for the guys that know each other, we all like each other's videos. We promote each other's videos. We promote each other's restoration businesses. And it's a yeah, the show with Artie was great, and I've got some other folks like that. I was just with Artie last Friday, and we went to he's making a bourbon. He's helping. There's a really famous bourbon company that's like 2 towns over from me called Hainer Brew Distillery, and they've been making bourbon since like 1860 or something like that. And so Artie came back because Artie's an expert about vanilla beans and things like that. He makes his own vanilla extract, and he should sell it. He should sell this stuff. But anyway, the people from Hainer, he's friends with them, and he was in town bringing in vanilla beans to the Hainer distillery, and I went down there and did taste testing all afternoon last Friday. It was a blast. I got a t-shirt. It was cool. I mean, if you get a t-shirt, I mean, that's always, that's always the, yeah, and Greg Hart and his collection Artie is really, in the last few years, really taken his collection down a lot. He's taken his collection down from where it was to very small these days. Because he doesn't really concentrate so much on collecting unless it's really old and unusual. As he does restoration, he concentrates more on the restoration. And he's just great at restoration as well. Fantastic. I mean, I'm really good at restoration, and Artie has fixed stuff that I had trouble with. And that's been a few years ago too, but when I first started doing it, if I had trouble, I could always call Artie up, and he would do that. He actually fixed an heirloom pan that I used the wrong vinegar on one time, and he completely fixed it. He did tons of layers on it. I'm going to move this back over this way because I'm about to pull out the soda bread, Irish soda bread, and we're going to give that a look. And see how that, oh my gosh, looky there. Boy, this guy can make some bread. That is beautiful. That is absolutely, I don't know if you guys can, this camera just doesn't do anything much justice, but that bread came out and that just looks fantastic. It's real solid. It's a dense spread as well. But yeah, that came out. Where is my mitt? Right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, that's fantastic. That came out really nice. I like that. No stick. Even better. Which I didn't think on that. On that skillet, it's not going to stick anyway. This little thing, this little gadget here never leaves my stove. Never leaves my stove. It's either inside the stove or use whiskey or Everclear. I use vodka. I actually use Hainer vodka to do vanilla. I'm actually out of vanilla right now, and I put in with Artie. I mentioned to Artie to grab me some beans, and so the next time I see him, I'm gonna get beans and I'm gonna do more vanilla because I'm out. But he makes crazy amounts of this. I mean, he's stuffed. I've seen him stuff bottles with vanilla, like high-end Madagascar vanilla, and then he'll separate it out. He knows exactly how to separate it out. But I don't even think I'm going to cut that. Yeah, I use vodka. That's what I use. I'm not big on cooking with bourbon. I like drinking bourbon occasionally, but I don't like cooking with it. I don't like the flavor of it like in barbecue sauces and things, I don't like the flavor of bourbon in my food. I like it in a small glass over ice. That's how I prefer my bourbon. Sometimes maybe a shot of ginger ale every once in a great while, but yeah, I think I'm gonna get this off of here, and I'm gonna set it onto that. Oh, I'm gonna turn my stove off, but I'm gonna set it on that trivet and let it cool, because my rack is not gonna fit. So I'm just gonna let it sit on the. My trivets are clean. I'll just let it sit there. But I'm gonna do that right quick. As soon as I find the other, there it is. There's my baseball handle. Because I don't want that bottom to get too done, too crispy to where I can't cut through it. There we go. There we go. Good enough. Good enough for construction, as they say. We'll set that off to the side. All right. There we go. Bourbon makes a great bread pudding sauce. Larry Fergus, I have never had bread pudding in my life. I've never had it. I don't even know. I know I have a recipe in my recipe box for it because I was going to make it a couple Christmases ago, but I've never actually had it. There we go. But yeah, that's not bad. That came out okay. It's hard but it's soft in the center. You can kind of see it's squishy toward the center, but it's a dense bread, so that's what it's supposed to be. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. All right. And it smells. Man, I want to walk outside and then come back in and just because I know the house smells amazing. Use a shallow BSR fish pan for bread pudding. Oh, okay. Oh, the fish pan. I like the long. Yeah, I like the long one. The 30-60. Isn't that what you're talking about? I've never been a fan of bread pudding too soggy. Yeah, I don't. Is it just? Yeah, I've got the recipe. I've got the recipe in my box, and I just cannot. I think actually I wrote down Mudbrooker's recipe for bread pudding. I think that's the one that I actually have in my recipe box. That's what I think's in there. Ooh, let's see how this corned beef is doing. I think I'm going to leave that for a while. I'm going to let that cool correctly before I break into that, but we'll see how this corned beef is doing. That might be, I could be game for a little bit of that. At least throw the corned beef on it, or corned beef. I don't know why I'm getting that mixed up so much tonight, but the cabbage. Let's see. It's like I said, I like mine stringy. Some people don't like theirs stringy. I like mine to fall right apart, and that is not doing it yet. It's still got a little tug to it. Oh, the bottom came off. That piece might be. Let's see what happens with that piece. Ooh, there we go. We might be in business. We might be in business with that. I could pull. Let me break off a leaf or two of cabbage, and we'll blanch that for just a couple minutes. And I'll pull a potato off, because the potatoes have been in there for hours. And now that I think about it, this has been in there about 5.5 hours. So this, the end piece, the end chunk fell off, and it's begging me to eat it. Absolutely begging me. So I'll throw in just a piece or two of the cabbage to just steam for about 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. Let's let that sit on top. And that's all I do with my cabbage. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. Except it has to have, when it goes in, it's got to get a little bit of salt, pepper and butter on the top. And it doesn't even have to be a lot, just some. And once that butter, get a little, there we go. Put that butter on there. And hit it with some, because I've never been a fan of letting my I've never been a fan of putting the cabbage in with the corned beef at the very beginning. I always put it in the very, very last little bit. Let me see if I can whittle this lid back on there without completely. Oh, here's another one fell. There we go. Let that sit on there. We'll give that like 3 minutes. No, I'd give it a little bit longer, but I'm ready to eat it. What we got going here? Oh yeah, we're still holding with some folks. And I got melted butter off to the side there. Got the melted butter that we'll just pour on top of all of it and throw some more butter on there. I'll move my my bread off to the side. I'm gonna let that bread actually like totally cool, or about halfway cool. So right now it's a little too hot before I cut it, but I'm gonna have that. And I've been talking now. I don't know where anything is in my kitchen. And we'll have a piece of the pork cake on the side. Well, that is some sticky goodness right there. It's not stuck, it's just the texture of it is sticky. If that makes any sense. It's just such a sticky cake. And like if you look here into the inside there, where I just took that out right there, it's not stuck. It's just this cake is it's just so dense and it's almost syrupy from the molasses. It's almost like a syrupy, the bottom is, like if you can see the bottom of that, it's so moist from the eggs and all the molasses and everything like that. I mean, it's good stuff. But we'll have just a little try out, and then we'll get off here and I'll get my kitchen cleaned up and let you guys get out of here. Time for round 2 on the iron. Well, guys, yeah, Huey, we'll see you, buddy. I'm about to get off here. I'm gonna dish out just a little bit of this corned beef, cabbage, and potato, and have that and dish that out, and then I'm gonna call it a night and get my kitchen cleaned up before it gets too much later. Time's the clock on the wall say 9. Oh man, it's 9:30. I've been at this for 2.5 hours, but whatever. It's only time, right? Like I said, I'd be doing this anyway. I'd just be sitting here doing this. So, and so thankful you guys decided to hang out for my mini pre St. Patrick's Day. We'll get some. I'll grab a dish down and all that. Grab a little dish. There we go. Let's see what happens. We're having in the kitchen tonight. Fun show. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, I'm glad you could be here, and I'm glad the audio held out at the beginning of the show. I really thought that I was going to have some audio issues because there are literally solar flares around here. My phone company even called me a few days back to let me know that they were having issues with the service because of all the solar flares. Let's see, let me get some silverware, which I have right here off to the side. A nice spoon. And I don't even need anything that serious. Just grab a butter knife. Biggs is down here scoping it out. You know, she's ready for some corned beef. So I'll set that off here. This is definitely, there we go. There we are. You can see that. That's what I like. I like to have a nice, I could let it go a couple more minutes, but I like the cabbage to be nice and nice and green. All right, Val. We will see you, dear. Thank you so much for being here. And so let's grab out some stuff here while we still got a few people on here, and we'll do a little, see how this actually came out. So are we on? Let me just go this way. Let's see. Let's get that chunk. That chunk there. This piece of cabbage. This piece of cabbage. Buttery deliciousness. I know there's a potato hiding down in there somewhere. Break that off. And yeah, I'm not a fan of red potatoes. Let's see if I can get another little piece off that end that broke off, just to make it worthwhile. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we are. I'd say we won't be greedy. We'll just take that. Put that there. Put that down. Bring that around here. Put that there. Bring that in just a little bit. Plop a little of that corned beef. And some of that butter. Butter for there. Now when I do my potatoes in there, I do cut crosses in them so they don't go and explode on me. And so they get good and done in the center. There we go. A little butter there, because it ain't Irish if it ain't got butter on it. That's what I've always heard, and I believe that. I honestly believe it. So we've got that. This on the side. Oh, right here's my stuff. A little cracked pepper on top of it, just to keep it honest. And there you go, corned beef and potatoes, Badger style. There you go. I'll eat that all day long. That's perfect right there for me. You may have your own way and all that kind of stuff, but to me that's where it's at. A little butter on that too. Can't hurt. Can't have any butter on there. There you go. I'm gonna give it the first corned beef test of the year. Get a little bit of everything. Take my gum out. I had gum in my mouth. Just got a little bit of snap. That cabbage. Like I said, the cabbage could have taken another minute or two, but not much. Some of that potato. A little bit of the corned beef. Perfect. For a bag corned beef, I'll take that any day of the week. And I can't wait to try out my very first brine corned beef that's in the refrigerator. I'll be doing that Sunday. I don't know if I'll probably throw it up here, just for, as long as I don't have too many people in the house, make it a distraction, then I'll probably throw it on here. Absolutely fabulous. Just to me it doesn't get, I mean, I grew up on bagged corned beef and cabbage and potatoes. So to me, this is just like going home, especially having the pork cake along the side. I mean, this is going to be good eating. But anyway, I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to get my kitchen cleaned up. I'm going to and all that. I'm going to get a few thumbnails, and I really appreciate you guys showing up. Share it with a friend. You know, let other people know. Have them have them come join us on Thursday night for some food and some recipes and a nice Thursday night hangout before the weekend. All right? All right, we'll see you guys. All right, we'll see you in the comment section. Bye.